Good evening, everybody. Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com. It is March 9th, 2020, and we are here to review. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. We're here to review Monday Night Raw.
I was waiting for you to
I was going to give your intro. And then
I was waiting for you to finish, and I was like, when am I going to say, like, it's Victoria Tedesco? But then you kept talking, so I didn't want to be, like, rude.
And that's Victoria. That's Victoria. Yes, I totally lost my train of thought right there. Probably because I am just so tired with the daylight savings happening. Spring ahead, we lost the hour. We did the hour and a half drive to Philadelphia yesterday twice.
You have not slept.
I have not slept.
No, you have not slept. But like you said, you worked all weekend too. Between going I don't know if everyone knows, obviously, but you work at the church also.
Yes, I play organ at church.
So you were doing that, and then we had the show, and you had work all day today.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't take a nap. Like, sometimes you try to take like an hour or like,
I try.
like, or a half hour or whatever, but you got nothing. You had nothing.
Not today.
I have a funny story to share later.
Oh, okay.
During one of the matches, though.
Oh.
You'll see. I think you know what I'm talking about.
I think I might, but I don't know. I like being surprised anyway. All right, let's say hello to everybody in the chat room real quick. We got all of our dear friends with us tonight. We have Quentin Walters has been there since the first episode. It's episode number 73. We're so close to 75 now.
Wow.
So
will we
close.
have 75 in 2 weeks, or will there be a break at all?
No, certainly
well, I didn't
not.
know if there was something like, you know how sometimes, I don't know. I just thought.
No, I don't want to take any breaks for WrestleMania
No, I'm not
season.
taking any. I'm just saying that sometimes things come up. I wasn't sure.
I hope not. I hope not. No, well, next week, episode number 74 will be on 316 Day, Austin 316 Day.
Oh, yes.
So that'll be a big show.
That will be a big show.
That'll probably be one of the best ratings that they do this year. That'll be interesting. So far, Raw this year is averaging like 2.2 million, which is like, wow, that's like way down from even 2 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy. And you can't pretend that all those people cut the cord all at once.
No.
Come on now.
No.
We have Billy in the chat room.
Billy?
Our dear friend Billy, Uncle Billy. Nafis Sadat.
Nafis.
Actually, I'm looking here. Nafis was the first in the chat room tonight.
Before Quentin?
He opened the chat room over
what?
Quentin. That's amazing.
My goodness.
Andrew Elder, who I'm
mad at him.
What?
I am mad at him. And you'll find out why in like 2 minutes.
Oh, God.
I am. I'm mad at him. I don't think he knows that I'm mad at him, but I am mad at him.
Wow. Victoria's going to be cutting a promo on Andrew? Is this happening?
I don't know if Andrew knows why I'm mad at him, but I'll explain.
I don't even know why you're mad at him. Well, Andrew, I was going to give him a compliment because he is a wrestling encyclopedia. It's like when I do my retro Raw recaps, my retro WrestleMania recaps, I should like really contact Andrew for like certain things. Nafis actually helped me out big time last night because I've been recapping the shows, and like every now and then there are like edits taken out of the shows. You can just tell that there's an edit. It's like all of a sudden they're talking about one thing and then it just like cuts and it's weird and the crowd's dead.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell happened there? And Nafis found this thread on Reddit that tracks every single edit made on.
Is that what you were reading last night?
That's what I was reading last night.
I saw that you were doing it. Yeah, I do. Now I do remember that.
It was so
good
helpful.
Good tip.
Of course, like now I'm on WrestleMania 8, and like they didn't do any edits to WrestleMania 8, but they did edits to 5, 6, and 7. I was like, I could have used that then.
That's so funny.
I should have said something earlier, and then Nafis would have helped. Let's see who else is in the chat room tonight. Daniel Shield, the heel. Daniel Shield.
Hello.
Mashoon Walls in the chat room.
Hello.
Now in Stomp City at the Tedesco's. I like it. Let's see.
Best chat ever.
Sweet Louis Veraldi in the chat room. He's here. Dylan Lowe. He can't stick around. He's working Australia. Dylan is from Australia, yes. Have been catching up on the shows, though. I'm midway through February. Have fun tonight. Good. I hope you're enjoying those shows. Jamel's in the chat room tonight. He goes, Andrew versus Victoria in a grudge match? Hayden Barker's here.
Everyone will understand why I'm mad at him. And like I said, just got to wait a little bit.
Hayden says, good evening. I'm here to hear about Raw so I don't have to watch. Yes, that's what we do. All right. So I think we've said hello to everybody so far. If I have not said hello to you yet, please make sure you make yourself known. Victoria, Dare I ask? And Andrew, I've been on the receiving end of this before, so I don't envy you.
Believe me, it's not anywhere near like any time that I've ever been mad at you. Believe me. Anywho, no, so talking about the chamber from last night, even though we spoke a little bit on the Wrestleview Live, I just wanted to say like our experience and talk about like how last night was a little bit before we go into recapping Raw and everything.
Okay.
So
Yes.
I had a phenomenal time. I really did. I had the best time. We had amazing seats. I have to say I really was not bored at all during the matches. Like there was not one point. It was really, really hard to find a time to get a break in between. And the one time I took a break, I told everybody that Kevin Owens was in our section. Well, I told you told everyone he was in our section. And then
yes, I take full credit for ruining the Raw Tag Team title match. I take full credit for that.
So that was the only time I was taking a break. I tried to get back into her seat. He's like, no, you can't. And then I was like, oh, Kevin Owens. And then he told me about Kevin Owens being there. And I'm like, oh, he's going to come back out. So I waited there like an idiot. But I couldn't get back to my seat anyway because they weren't allowing people even on either section to go to check it out. So it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
So why are you mad?
So I'm mad because it's the main event. And
Yes.
you tell me a little tidbit that Andrew had this phenomenal idea.
Oh,
And
yes.
I told you not to tell me because I'm like, that's not going to happen. And it didn't happen. So that's why I'm pissed.
Yes.
Do you remember why?
Andrew, yes, I do, because Andrew should be booking for WWE because he has so many good ideas. And I was just like, why? Like, I remember, I think I put a tweet out. I was just like, yeah, I still think the main event's going to stink. And then Andrew tweeted me back and goes, well, I mean, maybe they have it in the main event because Randy Orton's going to come out and RKO Natalya because she's Beth's friend. And I was like, yes, that would make it all worth it.
And that's why I was like, hence,
happen.
and that's what I'm saying. That's why
Yeah,
I'm mad at
you
him.
too, Andrew.
And
He's too smart for his
no,
own
but
good.
I even said that. I even said that to you. Go now. I'm gonna be pissed. It's not gonna happen.
Yes.
Like I said, now
she
I'm gonna
actually
be mad.
did say that last
So
night.
now, like, it didn't happen. And listen, it was storytelling last night. Like we said yesterday, it wasn't meant to entertain. It was meant to tell a story, and it did what it was supposed to do with Shayna Baszler. But I was really having in my head that Randy Orton was going to come out and do the RKO on Natalya, and that's why I'm pissed off.
Yes. He's too smart and too good for his own good there.
So thank you, Andrew, for ruining my night. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
No, we had a
See,
phenomenal.
that's the kind of melodrama I deal with.
No, we had a phenomenal time though, and I have to say, like
It
I
was
said,
great.
from top to bottom, I was not bored at all, and I really found myself like one of those pay-per-views where it didn't elongate. It was like, wow, where did the time go? That went by so fast, just because we were just so entertained. And
Yeah, I had a blast watching the show. I told the story about my grandfather.
Yeah.
Like the Elimination Chamber, for whatever reason, is special to me.
Mm-hmm.
It meant a lot. Like when I heard it was going to be in Philadelphia, as soon as those tickets went on sale, I bought our seats, and we had
Exactly.
great seats, by the way.
we did.
Really, really
I
good
have
seats.
I have to say, we said this before on one of our shows. It is so much better, like, sitting up a little bit more. Like, we were close to the ring, but we weren't on the floor. Like, I find when you're on the floor, it's really not as fun unless you're, like, super tall.
Right.
Or, like, you're really right up front, and you get up there. But where we were just, like, at a happy medium between, like, being
perfect.
up too far and being too close. It was just, like,
there was like nothing from
perfect.
the Elimination Chamber blocking us. We had the perfect vantage point. We could see everything in the chamber.
And then Kevin Owens.
Tremendous. And then Kevin Owens walked right by us. If you saw my pictures on Twitter last night, Owens walked right by us. Victoria texted me. She went to the bathroom, and then she goes, "Oh, I can't get back into our section because Kevin Owens is coming out." And I go, "Really?" So then I tried to leave, and some security guard grabbed me by the arm, pulled me back. He's like, "You can't go this way." I was like, "Really?" I go, "Why?" He goes, "There's something going on at the show." I go, "Okay." So I go back to to my section.
You get the text from me.
And then after I got the text from you, and I whispered to this kid that was next to us. I said, "Why don't you get on the end? Kevin Owens is coming down." So I moved the kid over, and then then another person behind me goes, "Wait, did you say Kevin Owens is coming down our section?" I go, "Yeah. I'm sorry. It's not, wrestling's not real. I'm sorry to spoil it for you." And then it just started spreading, and then it spread to the next section, and then before you knew it, 2 sections of people were just staring at the entrance to our section waiting for Kevin Owens, and it was like 15 minutes later that he came down, or maybe 10 minutes. I'm exaggerating. I'm Gorilla Monsoon over here.
I was
15 feet in the air.
I was such an idiot though. I literally walked right past security. Like I didn't even like he was like standing there like this, and I just walked past, and he's like, "Ma'am, I'm really sorry, but you can't go in there." I go, "Why? Why? I can't go? That's my seat." And he was like, "Oh, Kevin Owens."
I don't care if it's your seat.
He's like, "Kevin Owens is coming out." He's like, "He's in there." I'm like, "Oh." So then I
didn't see him.
No, but then I
was
had
in the tunnel.
then I had a bunch of people. I felt really bad because I was talking about like Kevin Owens. It's actually no, it was his fault. Never mind. I'm not gonna take credit for this one. But there's a whole bunch of people like waiting by the snack stands, like waiting for him to come back out, and he never did. And I was like, "Oh, crap."
Why would he come back?
I don't know. I thought he was just gonna. I thought they were gonna come back up through here and like whatever.
Oh, you mean like you thought they're gonna brawl up there? Then Kevin Owens.
Yeah, that's what he made it sound like because there was like 5 security guards.
And he wouldn't let me go through the tunnel, and it was like 10 minutes later that Owens came down. I could have gone to the bathroom, and come back.
That was the thing too. So
that was the only match I wanted.
We were in 112. They had 113 and 114 open.
Yes.
You could go through either side, but he's like, you're not going to be able to get back to your section, though. He's like, you won't be able to get back to your seat. You can go in and watch the show from like the top, but you won't be able to actually go back to where you're. So I'm like, there's really no freaking point for me to come back if I can't get back to where our seat was. So
yes, exactly.
Whatever.
Andrew says, reminds me of what happened to me on a Nitro once with Sting and Randy Savage in Memphis. Couldn't go to the bathroom because of it. There you go. There you go. It happens. But, God, Sting Randy Savage would have been much better than Kevin Owens, I'll say that. But
real quick, before we recap the show, what was your favorite part of yesterday?
My favorite part of yesterday? Well, other than seeing the Elimination Chamber, I kind of already described, how special that was for me. Undertaker, coming out, because like every single time, the last couple shows we've been to, it's Undertaker's been there, and every single time, what do I say?
You're like, he's here again.
No, that's not what I say.
No, what do you say?
I always say, enjoyed this. This is probably the last time we're going to see him.
Oh, yeah, no, you do say that, yeah. And we always wind up seeing him, so it is bizarre.
And then we see him again, and then it was like, oh, yes, he's having a match now with Roman Reigns, and he's wearing a black T-shirt. It's cool. So we saw him at Madison Square Garden. We keep running into the Undertaker.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Again, last night, it's like, that's got to be the last time we see him, or one of
unless
the
he winds up at
final
SummerSlam,
times.
who knows? Like
one of the final times that we see him.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard rumors at Survivor Series because he debuted at Survivor Series 1990 and to retire at Survivor Series 2020. 30 years later.
That would be something.
Would be a great capstone. Wherever Survivor Series is, if that's the case, I think I need to get there.
You can go there. I'm more than happy to support you on that one, honestly.
So as long as the coronavirus doesn't wipe out the world's population, we'll get there.
I know why the coronavirus is happening, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Just the section we were in last night.
Oh God.
I'm like,
why are Americans taking the number one thing that we can do to prevent coronavirus is to practice good hygiene, like washing our hands. Oh, this is news to me. I never even thought about something like that. Usually I only wash my hands if I take a shit on them. It's like, wow. Americans are dirty.
Well, no, but there's people coughing into the air. You had people going like I saw somebody and this is an adult, mind you, it wasn't a kid. Kids, it's like, okay, they have to teach them. He's like rubbing his nose and he's eating his popcorn. I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
I wish I saw the chat because Hayden was trying to do me a great service.
Okay.
He goes, Mike's favorite part was spending time with Victoria. Hint. That was good.
It's okay, Hayden. My favorite part was not spending time with my husband. So,
Jamel says Survivor Series 2020 will be happening in Dallas. I've only done a layover in Dallas.
Yeah, you never actually spent time there.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, you should go. Honestly,
that would be a good thing. Also, Nafis, we got to send our thoughts and prayers out to Nafis, because he's in Washington. He lives in Washington. That's where it all is. He goes, "It's okay, I'll be getting wiped out before all of y'all here."
Oh gosh.
No, heaven forbid that happens to you, Nafis. We are thinking of you. We hope everything is well there.
Yeah. The numbers are spiking in Jersey too. Not nearly as much as Washington, but
the head of the Port Authority for New York and New Jersey came down with coronavirus today. So it's getting bad, and it's like all in the surrounding towns of us. So we're getting a little nervous. Our schools are actually we're coming up with a contingency plan if and when we have to shut down. So. Interesting time to be alive. What a time to be alive. What a time.
Anyways, let's get into Raw.
Yeah, let's talk about Raw. Nafisa says they asked all of us to work from home. The work campus was so empty today. That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. And Jerome Weiland, also our intrepid reporter, also lives in Washington, and he was telling me how wild it is over there and how public transportation. Jerome actually told me that he saw somebody on public transportation wearing a gas mask. So it's getting serious out there. People are serious. It's scary.
It is scary.
But it also means that, if you go to the movies, that there'll be less people talking there. So that'd be great. Anyway. And Hayden actually just said the exact same thing. How about that? Crazy. All right. Let's talk about this Raw.
Okay.
Because this was actually a really good episode of Raw. I knew it would be. They had the rumors were initially that Edge was supposed to be there and Undertaker. Well, Undertaker didn't wind up showing up at this one, but
because he was there last night.
They did officially announce Edge, though, which I saw a lot of people grumbling about online.
Why?
Because they're like, well, shouldn't it be a surprise? They said the same thing about John Cena. But it's like, you surprise people with this, and then like no one's watching. It's like everybody thinks it's just that's the problem. Everybody thinks it's a regular episode of Raw, so I'm not going to tune in unless they tell me something cool is going to happen. That's a problem with the show.
It's a marketing thing.
That's definitely a problem that people aren't watching. Unless they know for a fact they're guaranteed something cool is going to happen. Like they said that about John Cena. They're like, why did they announce John Cena coming back?
Let's realistically, who was watching SmackDown?
You don't want to announce John Cena's coming back?
You always announce when John Cena is coming back.
Of course. And it was the third highest rating that they did on Fox
unless it was like the Rumble. Yeah, you don't want to announce that. You're not going to be like, oh, John Cena's going to be in the Royal Rumble.
Well, like they didn't announce
people who are going to watch.
They didn't announce Edge was going to be in the Royal Rumble.
Right.
That's where you do a surprise.
That's a surprise.
Because everybody's going to watch those shows anyway.
Right. Like even if you're a casual fan, you're generally watching the pay-per-views.
Yeah, but who's going to turn into the February 28th SmackDown?
No.
Oh, gee, I hope John Cena comes back tonight, so I'll just watch.
Especially since they're having a hard time anyway. Like that's where you get people to get excited.
But the Edge return worked out really well tonight. There was a tremendous promo by AJ Styles and The Undertaker that I'd love to talk about. But Raw kicks off with Becky Lynch, Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, coming out to the ring. She gets a great reaction from the Washington crowd. And she's finally not being stupid, which is important to me.
No, yeah.
It's very important to me. She comes out, she's serious. And she goes, although she did start with one cringy line, she goes, Washington, D.C., the man has come around. It's like, okay, that's not quite finally The Rock has come back to insert town name here, but whatever. She goes, the time for joking is over. She finally knows who her WrestleMania opponent is, the cage fighter Shayna Baszler. They show a video package of Shayna Baszler destroying all the women in the Elimination Chamber. Speaking of the Elimination Chamber, after this segment, you have to tell us your favorite part of the chamber, because I didn't ask you what your favorite part was.
I know, you're rude.
I know I am. Oh, the tag team chamber was pretty good, too, though. Anyway, Baszler, during the video package, I didn't even realize, because usually when they show a video package, nothing of consequence happens. It's just like a recap, and sometimes I just start doing other things while that's happening. Shayna Baszler appears in the video package. She says at WrestleMania she's taking the Raw Women's Championship, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it, bitch. They love the word bitch on this show. They think
women can only say the word bitch.
They love it. It's like, okay, we don't want to say the F word because it's TVPG.
Can't say the
USA
C
will
word.
Probably get mad at us.
You can't say the C word because that's just going way too far.
Yes. So bitch, that'll work. Oh yeah, that's good. Becky Lynch. The crowd's chanting her name. She says, Baszler cut through the entire field in minutes, including the one person it took me my entire career to beat in Asuka, which I thought was a really good point. Baszler was a successful cage fighter, the longest combined champion in NXT history, and a world-class scumbag. She calls Baszler a black hole of charisma, and she says, while I may be a bitch, I'm the bitch that runs the division. So that got another one. She goes, I only used to recognize you as the constipated robot from NXT that refused to shake my hand last year at WrestleMania. You were just bitter that I ripped the title out of your friend Ronda Rousey's broken hand. I have beaten trained killers before, and I'll do it again at WrestleMania. It'll be the man versus the Queen of Spades. Lynch thinks that Baszler is underestimating her, so she'll smash Baszler's face in for doing that, and she holds up the title. That's the end of the segment. Strong. I thought that was a really very strong promo from her.
Very strong. I like the callbacks.
Yeah.
I like the fact that she referred to last night. She did a little bit of everything, which was super effective too. And this is why last night happened the way it did. I know there's a lot of backlash, especially from the crowd, and you can really hear it from just even being there that people were not into this. But it did its job because Shayna Baszler got a lot of heat, a lot of heat, yep. And it made Becky Lynch look really good that people were cheering for her tonight. Because Becky Lynch does get consistently, she does get people to cheer for her, but then you have a kind of a mixed crowd. I feel though there's a bunch of group of people who are super fans and they're always going to cheer for her, but then there's individuals who they're not cheering and they were just kind of over it, and then she was getting kind of cold in that sense. But overall, I kind of feel like this did its job because tonight it showed, because there was a lot more people cheering for her than the past few weeks. She's, like I said, she's got a consistent group of fans who always cheer for her, but this was a lot more people. So it just gained that momentum of you don't want Shayna Baszler to win. You want Becky Lynch to retain the title. And when Shayna Baszler does come back and retaliate or wherever and go back at Lynch, it's going to be 10 times more. This has a right focus to it now. I feel like now we're getting on the right track with this feud that we weren't getting initially.
I agree. I thought it started off hot with Shayna Baszler biting the back of her neck and, looking just like a rabid wild animal.
Yeah.
Quickly ruined all in the same night by Becky Lynch coming back and no selling the thing. And then last week she's dressed like Elton John wearing Jerry Lawler's crown and just completely shitting on Shayna Baszler and no selling everything she was doing. And it was just really? This is what we're going to be doing going into WrestleMania. She finally has an opponent that's okay, this is an actual threat to her title run. And
which she said.
Which she hasn't had in a long time. Really, it's the last great challenger for Becky Lynch. Who is it? Asuka in January, but before that, she hadn't defended her title since Hell in a Cell against Sasha Banks.
Right, and I was who's she going against? Initially, there was Lacey Evans at one point, right?
Lacey Evans, yep, yeah, Lacey Evans, and forever, pretty much.
Natalia too?
Natalia at SummerSlam.
Okay, yeah, so not really anything of substantial,
nothing of consequence.
Substance. Yeah, it was
and then I believe she faced Charlotte at Money in the Bank, where she lost the SmackDown Women's title.
I mean, listen, we were talking a lot about that. I mean, we talked about this for a long time, but Billy and I were chatting before. The women's division is very, very, very weak.
Oh.
I mean, if Shayna Baszler didn't do what she did last night, if that didn't pan out the way it's supposed to, that would have been even. Everyone talked about, last night it was miserable, the main event.
It wasn't. It was not a match that was designed to be good.
No way. But
it wasn't supposed to be oh wow, this is so much fun to watch.
Well, think about this though. If they planned it out any differently, think about how much more miserable it actually would have been.
Yeah.
If they had them actually genuinely fighting Shayna Baszler and then them actually getting over on Shayna Baszler. Are you kidding me? If you had, no matter what happens, if Shayna Baszler was in that equation, You could not have it like a regular chamber match. I'm sorry. Like, because there's not an even playing field. And they definitely did not show an even playing field last night. That is exactly why those women were in that match last night.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah, 100%.
So she can just get through them and not even, so they don't even look like a threat to her. But this division is very, very weak. It's very weak. That's why.
I mean, Sarah Logan was in the Elimination Chamber last night in the main event.
Why is Charlotte Flair facing somebody from NXT?
Because there's nobody interesting
Because there's
for her to face on
nobody in
Raw.
the main roster.
It's like we've seen her face Becky Lynch a million times. I don't need to see Charlotte versus Bayley, that's for sure.
Baszler's was hot down there. Rhea Ripley was hot down there.
Yeah.
So guess what? They're bringing two individuals who are seemingly more appealing to an audience than people on their own like main show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of like.
That's a good point. Yeah, the state of the division is so bad. That's why I thought when they did the brand split in 2016 that they should have just done, kind of like what they're doing with the tag titles, even though the tag titles haven't been defended since December. But apparently they're going to do something at WrestleMania with the titles again. It's like, okay, I forgot. I actually almost completely forgot that we had women's tag team champions.
Who is the tag team champions?
The Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
wait, oops.
Who remembers? They don't do anything.
Not really, no.
And they haven't defended the titles, partly because Kairi Sane was injured for a while.
That's why I think I forgot, because, like, there's not a lot of focus on that. Like, when they come out together, it's like...
Yeah. But they at least know that there's not enough women to even have a women's tag division on the show. So they let them go to all different shows, right?
Yeah.
Like, I thought in 2016 when they did this that they should have just had a combined women's roster that just kind of goes to all the shows.
100%.
One champion. Or have separate rosters, but one champion that goes to both shows. Not two titles.
And this is why...
Not two rosters.
And this is why Becky Lynch, too, like, for individual... Like us, we've said it. She's gotten cold in like, for the past few weeks. Except for tonight, she was really, really good. But there's been times where she's been very, very cold. It's been very, very weak in her appearances. But that's also due to the fact, shitty writing, obviously, sometimes, for the most part. But also, it's like, we're the opponents. Like, it's not good when she's up against somebody who she's going to beat.
Right.
It's not good. You can't, and that's hard to it's hard to, I know for me, if I were her, I'd be like really hard to get into character and try to believe that, like,
got a little complacent, towards the end of the year. Like, it was there, in the summer, like when everything was turning on her and Seth Rollins because they were exploiting their relationship. God, when I really think about it, just how bad 2019 was, like, creatively for the show. It's probably got to be one of the all-time worst years of Monday Night Raw.
Oh.
And I'm not even exaggerating. I don't think I'm exaggerating. Like, like 2018 ended with Vince and everybody saying, we're going to listen to the fans. And then, like, they just completely obliterated the show with the Superstar shakeup and then the wild card rule. The whole show just felt completely disjointed for the entire year.
They'll always listen to the fans to a point. I think Vince's overall message is like, we'll listen to you, but we're not, but to a point. Don't forget, we'll always have control.
Right.
And the Viking Raiders are a prime example of that.
Right.
The Viking experience, still one of their moves.
Viking Raiders.
So.
Yeah. So there's that.
But Becky Lynch overall.
This was a good promo.
Very good way. And it wasn't long. It was not long.
It was perfect.
It was quick.
Everything was perfect about it. Next up is Rey Mysterio versus Angel Garza, or sometimes they call him Angel Garza on NXT because they are, they like to be Alex Trebek, where they like to enunciate everything in the actual language. Who would have thunk? Anyway, this was a really good match. They kind of played up the fact that Angel Garza is the one that took Mysterio out like a month ago. DDT'd him on the floor. Mysterio came back last week, or really he came back at Super Showdown, kind of. But he came back at Brooklyn last week on Raw, and now Mysterio is supposed to get his revenge. This is another match. Usually, like, they put like Angel Garza and some guy, or Humberto Carrillo and some guy like Andrade or whatever. And
Right.
they open up Raw, and they usually go about 2 segments, right? And the match is usually good, but it's like it would have been better if it was just a little shorter.
Shorter, yeah.
They did one segment here, one commercial break, and Mysterio wins clean with the 619. It was really, really good. It didn't go too long, which I really liked. Mysterio looked good, and you need Mysterio looking good, because I think the plan for this is a fatal 4-way for the United States title. Andrade, Carrillo, Garza, and Mysterio. If that match is given time on WrestleMania, if they don't make it like, okay, we'll squeeze all your crap in 10 minutes because that's all you're getting. If they give this match time, it could be an amazing WrestleMania match.
Here's why it needs to happen, because so at the Chamber last night, when it's gonna sound really weird connection, but I promise I'm going to get there. But in the Chamber last night, when the tag team Chamber was happening, there was a lot of moans and groans about the Lucha House Party coming in, right?
Oh yeah.
But even from the time they kind of began and the time they kind of got eliminated, I had a different feel. I like the style of wrestling, and I really do. It's not spotty to me. I think it's just part of their culture. Like when they do all those intense moves, and it's just very, very dramatic. And Lucha House Party is not even your best of your best. But these 4 individuals, particularly Mysterio, are your best of your best in that Latina culture. Like, it's just really, really good. And they need to, if this is, like I said, if this is that happy accident, I'm so for it. Like, this is just a phenomenal way to kind of get your newbies and your veteran in there and to showcase all of them.
Right. And because they're, except for like Andrade, Carrillo, and Garza are just so new to like the main roster and performing in like front of all these people, especially like at Raymond James Stadium, where it's gonna be like so many people there. As long as it's not canceled, you need
Mysterio in there.
You need Mysterio, and you need Andrade to kind of be like those steady hands, like keeping everybody calm. Let's relax.
That's what I'm saying. I love this style of wrestling though. Like, honestly.
Well, you know what? It's like, it's spotty and like we can make fun of it, but like they have actually like, done something that the other cruiserweights haven't, and it's like their moves mean something.
Yeah.
It's not just like a flip for the sake of a flip. Because when they brought the cruiserweight division up, the reason why it failed so miserably in like, what was it, 2016, 2017?
Yeah, roughly.
Was because, and they're having that awful cruiserweight match every week with the Purple Rope. Oh God, it was brutal. The reason why it failed so miserably is because they didn't establish characters, and they were just doing stuff that didn't have anything to do with anything. It's like, yeah, okay, that's great. Maybe like 5 nerds will be like, oh, yes, we're great, and 5 stars. It's like the general audience doesn't really care about that. They want to see characters, and that's just the case. Like, I love wrestling too, but the main the casual fan wants to see a character, and they only react to characters that they believe in and that are strong. They don't care how many moves you do.
This is so
Andrade,
good.
Carrillo, Garza, Mysterio. Well, obviously Mysterio, he's been doing it for 25 years, almost probably 30 actually. I think it's probably his 30th year in wrestling. He's still in great shape, still doing all the stuff. They make their stuff mean something.
Yeah,
it's not just stuff for the sake of stuff.
And
that's why they're getting over the other cruiserweights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big time.
Absolutely.
You wanted to add something else?
No, you actually just summed it up perfectly. So no.
And Jamel goes, they did have one character, but it was Enzo Amore. Ugh, God. God. I'm so glad that we didn't have post Raw when Enzo was on. You thought my rant about the 24/7 title was bad, or my rant about Charlie Caruso was bad? Enzo Amore on TV every week, it would be brutal. It would just be a rant a week. It would just be an absolute rant a week.
I wish him well, and I hope he gets help. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, he really needs a lot of help. Kevin Owens, the video showing of him walking to the arena only be blocked by AOP and Murphy. Seth Rollins comes up eating popcorn, which was the finish of their match last night with the Street Profits. Owens throwing popcorn in Rollins' face. They attack Owens and run off. They just crush him.
They must have forgotten to give him the popcorn when he was standing there, because they handed a security person the popcorn, and then they gave it to him.
Oh, for Owens last night?
Yeah, for Owens
Okay.
last night. So I thought it was really
Yeah.
funny that, like, just in general, just like a quick little story about that. But
Oh, speaking of Owens and popcorn and all that stuff, in that match where the Street Profits and, you know, how everybody has all those red Solo cups, they just have a guy go out there with a thing of Solo cups from backstage, and he just starts going, yeah, just throwing them out into the crowd, and just, like, unbelievable to watch grown men, like, wrestle with children for red Solo cups. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I got one. I gave it to that kid. I was like, whatever. Like, I don't care. I had your clear plastic cup from your water, and I was doing that. But it's like they have to get a better system than just throwing them out in the crowd. It really was pathetic. To like I literally saw a guy rip a cup out of a kid's hand. It was pathetic. Horrible.
Oh my God! Remember how I almost got into it with that guy last night at the end of the show?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're like, oh, grab a cup. I'm like, what am I gonna do with the cup? And I'm like, there's drink. And some people don't have like their drinks in the cup. And like, he goes, what are you worried about the coronavirus? And I'm like, was I talking to you?
Oh yeah, that had potential to get ugly. That had potential to get really ugly real quick. I was like, oh God. I was like, just keep walking.
To the guy, not me.
Yeah, no, to the guy. I was like, it's like, dude, just keep going. Don't even say anything. Just go. Let us get our pictures and get the hell out of here, please. Charlotte Flair making her way to the ring. She talks about how, well, first they showed a video package, the same one they showed on NXT this past Wednesday of Rhea Ripley visiting Raymond James Stadium. Charlotte says, you know, sarcastically, oh, that was so inspiring. Rhea Ripley, the big thing, the new shiny toy. But she's confused. Ripley said in order to be the best, you have to beat the best, but Ripley doesn't want to be anything like her because she wants to be herself. Flair says, you know, wants to make one point. Rhea Ripley, you are not me. You'll never be me, and there can only be one of me. I'm going after the NXT Women's Championship because I want to teach Rhea Ripley a lesson in respect. It's one thing to stand in an empty stadium talking about your hopes and dreams. It's another thing to stand in an arena with 90,000 people and be humbled by the queen. Rhea Ripley comes out, goes to talk. Flair cuts her off. Ripley punched her in the mouth, and that's it. They both smile at each other. I hate those kind of angles when, like, I thought the promo was fine. I thought that she really ended it strong by saying it's one thing to stand in an empty stadium, that whole entire thing. I thought that was really strong. Ripley looked good. She looked confident coming out. She looked like she belonged. She didn't look out of place. I just don't like when the one person just hits a move and then, like, they back off and then they're like, okay, you got me. And then they're like both smiling at each other. I hate those things. It's like, oh God, of course they do it here at WrestleMania. What do you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. You know, what I really actually genuinely enjoyed about it is that when Charlotte Flair was talking, but then Rhea Ripley came out and Rhea Ripley was about to speak and Charlotte interrupted her. I'm starting to notice what you and I were suggesting before. Like, they have to start making the conversations a little bit more authentic, where it's not going to, somebody's not going to just sit there and you're going to allow them to talk crap about you, you know? So she cut her off right away and that was really good. And then Rhea Ripley just kind of coming in and punching her, and it was quick. It was good. And and that's the thing, but it's strong. It doesn't need to be any more than that.
Right.
Obviously, you know, there is a point to it. Like, Rhea Ripley is not in front of like all those thousands of people. So you kind of want to get her over, but you don't want to throw her into like it's like a long segment and promo.
Certainly not, no, because she's not ready for all that.
You know, she's not ready for all that, but she most certainly is physically ready to have an altercation with her and be able to have the matchup and look strong in that sense. So for me personally, I think that they played into their strengths. Charlotte is very strong in the mic as a heel. I don't think so much as a face, to be honest with you, but as a heel, she knows how to work the crowd and whatever. So it worked for me, and I like it, and I'm really happy that they extended it to the NXT roster, because it was like, who is this girl going to face? They have nobody on the roster.
Right.
This is a perfect matchup.
Yeah, it is. It is. The one thing I sensed though was that the crowd isn't really like buying this match yet.
I got a different take on it.
And I think that they need to do a little more to establish Rhea Ripley to the main roster crowd. You know, it's like it's one thing to be hot on NXT. It's another thing to come up. It's like going to a different promotion and like no one's ever seen you before, because not a lot of people watch NXT that watch Raw regularly, right? It's like it's a fraction.
Agree with that.
It's a fraction.
Agree with that.
So I think they need to do a little more to establish her. Maybe have a match on Raw. You know, like I thought the video package will go a long way to kind of establish her and say who she is. But I'm a little worried about this match at WrestleMania. I don't know, you know, although it'll be a strong, you know, international audience coming in to watch, but you know, I'm a little worried about the reactions.
See, I have a different take on it. I'm not going to say that they're completely sold on the match yet, but I will say I think that there was a stronger reaction to her, and I think it's just going to have to be that they're going to have to amp up just more time with her, but just keep having her come out every week. She's not the type of person where you can just have Charlotte come out and not have Rhea Ripley come out. They're going to have to bring her out more, and it doesn't have to be like, again, a promo. Maybe she attacks Charlotte. Maybe who knows? Like whatever it may be, an interference in a match. But I think they'll get there. I think if you have like a video package and her interfering in some way or whatever, you can do it. Or if you wanted to have her have a promo, you can have a pre-taped promo.
Okay. Yeah. Anything.
And that way they can kind of coach her through it. That way she's not live.
Right. That's a good idea. Bobby Lashley squashing Zack Ryder. Do we even need to talk about this?
No.
Why is Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, why are they still on the roster? I have no clue. I
don't feel bad for Zack Ryder, though. So, honestly.
He had his opportunities. So.
I just don't. And I think he just cries. He's the boy who cries wolf. He just cries all the time. And it's like, I don't think he's that great of a wrestler for him to be crying like that.
I don't think there's a single wrestler that doesn't wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and not see a world champion. But Zack Ryder takes it to like the next level.
Yeah.
Eric. So Aleister Black is sitting backstage. He's ready. He's going to be speaking, doing one of his weird cryptic promos, and then there's a knock at the door, so he doesn't even say a word. Seth Rollins and Murphy come in. Rollins tries to recruit him. Black says no, and Rollins, you know, but he says, "But you did knock on my door. Those are fighting words. In that case, I want to fight you." And yeah, that's it. Rollins stares at him and walks off.
Yep.
Rowan versus Drew McIntyre. So Eric Rowan, who last week it was finally revealed what the hell was in that cage. A giant mechanical tarantula. And everybody shit on it. It's like there's no other way to put it. Everybody just crapped all over the spider.
I had a huge rant last week.
You knew it was going to suck. So I don't know why everybody's upset. You knew that, like, I enjoyed the build up to it. I thought they actually did a really nice job. There was a lot of fun segments building it up. But you knew it was just going to be a disappointing payoff, because everything's a disappointing payoff nowadays.
Yeah, right. But that's not a fair whatever. Like, to get upset because you know it was going to be bad. Like, but maybe you should
set your expectations low.
No, I shouldn't have to, because it's like, now what?
Well, it doesn't matter, because they reversed course here. They built all this up. We finally see the damn tarantula. Drew McIntyre is just squashing Eric Rowan, who I thought was doing really well. He actually had a couple good matches with Aleister Black, and then he was fed to Drew McIntyre, which is fine. Drew McIntyre should be getting guys fed to him. But I just hope that this isn't the new direction they're taking Rowan, because I kind of think he's a good hand. But they did kill the spider, and I'm just going to show the GIF, because it was magic. So McIntyre is killing Rowan at ringside. Finally goes over, grabs the damn cage, puts it down, grabs a chair, steel steps, and kills the spider. He's the top face on the show, and he murders a guy's pet.
So I find no hilarity.
That's a new age baby face.
I have no hilarity in it. And the reason why is because I think what they should have done is, and again, I'm overthinking.
I love it.
But they had Drew McIntyre have a match with Eric Rowan tonight. Not happen what happened next week. We still didn't know what was in the cage tonight. And then Drew McIntyre just like smashes the cage, and then there's like blood and guts or whatever. And then he says, "You killed him." And then then he could have revealed it was a spider. Then you could have had like a 2-in-1, but we didn't actually see the electronic spider that looked like I got something from Target, CVS, and or Walgreens.
Wow, what the hell? What the hell just happened there? Did you just cut like a Vince promo and just start listing drugstore chains?
I wanted to be inclusive. I didn't want to exclude any of the.
Of course, Quentin Walters calls it Aragog from Harry Potter. Harry Potter. I thought what would have been really, really funny is like, remember how he Remember how like Rowan would put his hand in the cage and then the thing would bite him and his hand would be all bloody?
Yeah.
I thought what would have been hilarious just to kind of like pay everything off to completion is Drew McIntyre slams the cage and just a big thing of blood just like bursts out or something like that.
I just said that.
Oh. Yes, of course you did. I was giving credence to how good the idea was. I heard most of what you said.
Mike's in trouble.
I heard most of it.
This happens all the time.
I'm sorry.
I say things, you don't listen to me.
You threw me with the Vince Walgreens thing.
Bull crap. Okay?
You threw me.
You're in trouble.
I was taking a sip of water.
You're in trouble.
It's not my fault.
You're not taking a sip of water.
Anyway, Drew McIntyre looks strong going into WrestleMania. They did, later on in the night, they did a really good thing. They had Paul Heyman backstage talking about how the list of victims that Brock Lesnar has run through the years, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Goldberg. Actually, I didn't mention Goldberg because they're trying to keep him looking strong. Randy Orton and a plethora of other guys all have gone down. And then Drew McIntyre appears, and then he goes, yes, everything that guy said is true. Lesnar has run through everybody until he met me. They show the Royal Rumble replay. He goes, I shouldn't make promises I can't keep, but I'm going to kick that guy in the face. I'm going to pin him, and I'm going to take the WWE Championship, and I'm going to be the reigning, defending, undisputed World Heavyweight Champion.
Awesome.
It was that was really good stuff.
Killer.
They are just doing everything to perfection with Drew McIntyre, and it's like, where was this type of build and where was this type of care when they were trying to get Roman Reigns over in 2015?
Here's a big difference. Paul Heyman has a lot more control, not as much as whatever, but Paul Heyman is in full control over this situation. That is exactly why.
That's a really good point. Yeah, it's got to be the Heyman influence.
And I think because of Brock being who he is, he probably was like, "Don't fuck this up." I'm just saying, like he's a smart guy. People don't realize how smart he is creatively. So he's got a lot of ideas probably, and the two of them together are like the ultimate creative team.
Correct. Just understand, I heard everything you said right there.
Okay, I'm still not speaking to you later, so.
But you have to speak to me on the show.
I have to speak to you on the show, but after the show is done. Bye.
Good. I might actually get some sleep tonight. Oh!
Wow. You weren't thin ice. You weren't thin ice, my friend.
Oh, boy. You know what I liked? I liked that they had a camera crew in the garage waiting for Edge to show up, and then they would go backstage, and Randy Orton was just in this like smoky room. He must have been vaping like a madman before like the camera started. It was like so weird. He was just like standing there like nothing. Kabuki Warriors have their first match or their first tag match in quite some time against Natalya and Liv Morgan. Randomly, Ruby Riott comes down to ringside. Then randomly, Sarah Logan comes down to ringside. And then randomly, they start fighting. And then randomly, Liv Morgan goes to the top rope and just wipes him out with the crossbody. And then randomly, Natalya has no partner anymore, and she gets crushed by the Kabuki Warriors. That's the match.
Yeah. I mean, Natalya actually looked good. She wasn't doing her like, oh my God, like her little cheerleader, you know.
Bitch.
I like how she sold it.
They were selling the injuries. All of them were selling injuries except for Kairi Sane. She wasn't in the chamber.
Natalia, I have to say, she's actually somebody I do kind of genuinely feel bad for because she really is good, like a good wrestler. Just that charisma. It's like, ugh. Like you just.
Yeah.
But whatever. I don't really like. I just thought. I'm just so mad about the like Liv Morgan thing. I just. They botched all of them coming back. They really did. Every last one of the Riot Squad members.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's Sarah Logan. Sarah Logan really doesn't have anything to botch, but Ruby Riott. I mean, like there is a story there, and they just like it's like the thing with Lana just got dropped like a bad habit, and then it's like, okay, well now what do we do with her? It's like they kept her off TV all this time. And just to bring her back, revamp the character, and this is the best they came up with.
Yep. Whatever. Moving on.
She's right back to where she started.
Bye.
Kabuki Warriors before the match, they were screaming in Japanese, and
I love the two of them.
That was actually pretty funny. Hard to recap that.
But they are too much.
But I thought I don't know why the Riot Squad, I don't know why Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan came down, and then they just started like nothing happened, and then they just started randomly brawling.
Yeah.
Then Liv Morgan just felt compelled to leave her tag partner high and dry with a crossbody.
You used the perfect word like throughout the whole entire recap. Random.
It was
everything was
literally no thought put into it at all.
Random.
Although, her Natalia getting crushed by the Kabuki Warriors without a partner kind of sets up, they keep rumoring Beth Phoenix and Natalia going for the titles. I also heard something about Bliss Cross Applesauce being in the match as well. That's the tag name.
Yes.
Kill me.
Yes.
It's a great tag name, Daniel Shield. Don't worry.
I love Alexa Bliss.
I like
Don't
Alexa
you
Bliss.
worry.
I like Nikki Cross too. I just hate their tag team name. It's awful. Okay, this is one of my favorite parts of the entire show, other than the Edge comeback. AJ Styles makes his way to the ring. He says, not once but twice, Undertaker stuck his nose in his business where it doesn't belong. Not once but twice, did the Undertaker take moments from him. Undertaker stole a beautiful trophy from him at Super Showdown, and at Elimination Chamber, he cost him a match. He says Styles is just disgusted. 3 years ago at WrestleMania, he saw The Undertaker get beaten by Roman Reigns. After the match, Undertaker folded up his coat and walked up the ramp like he was riding off into the sunset. He probably should have done that after Brock Lesnar beat him. Still, it was a beautiful, powerful moment, and Undertaker ruined it by coming back. It's like everything that people are saying about The Undertaker and the state of his career, Styles said. Then he goes, what made you do it? Was it ego? Well, whatever it is, it's going to cost you. I want you, Undertaker, at WrestleMania. A few years ago, I would have been hesitant to call The Undertaker out. Truth is, he doesn't see him as a monster or a phenom. He sees him as a broken down old man named Mark Calloway. Should have retired 10 years ago when he was in his prime. And he doesn't know why he keeps coming back, but he has a pretty good idea. His wife, Michelle McCool, he says that Michelle McCool and Undertaker are married, if people didn't know, and she plays him like a fiddle. She is the most conniving person he's ever met, and she's going to run him into the ground. He has to keep going down to the ring and getting hurt so she can get what she wants. Styles says Undertaker's wife is going to run him into the ground, and Styles will help her. Styles will make sure the Undertaker dies in the ring at WrestleMania. And I was like, okay, well, I remember that AJ Styles spent a lot of time in TNA, and I do remember him having a match with Christopher Daniels where Christopher Daniels told AJ Styles' kids to go to bed because he's going to murder their father on TV, which I thought was classless. Here it kind of works because Undertaker's the dead man, but still, it's like one of those things like, really die? Okay, fine. Styles says he will take the Undertaker's soul. He will do exactly what his wife wants him to do. And Styles challenges him to the match. What do you have to lose, Undertaker? You already lost your dignity, pride, and mystique. You're just a broken down old man. You can yell for Undertaker all you want. People don't give a damn about you, Undertaker. Styles tells Undertaker to accept the fight so he can put the literal nail in his coffin. I thought, wow, what a promo. I was waiting for Undertaker to come out and respond, and nothing. This was just perfect. I've been very, very lukewarm about AJ Styles and Undertaker because I thought the build at Super Showdown was bad. I thought they did a great angle last night in Elimination Chamber. But I was like, God, like, who wants to see another Undertaker match? And then I'm like, then Styles cuts his promo, and I'm like, I can't wait to see this Undertaker match. And it's like, I'm like the, I don't even know a good analogy. I'm just like, I just keep coming back for more with the Undertaker. It's like, I know he's broken down. I know he's an old man. I know he hasn't had it since his match against CM Punk in 2013. That's the last good match that he had at WrestleMania. I think the last good match he ever had was the Hell in a Cell against Brock Lesnar in October 2015, along with that SummerSlam main event that we saw. But since then, it's been like 5 years since that SummerSlam. 5 years.
I know.
And it's like, I haven't seen him have a good match with anybody. It's time. It's like this could be his last chance to have a really good WrestleMania match, and AJ Styles can do that.
I don't know if it was last week or a couple weeks ago, but I said how I really wasn't looking forward to this match whatsoever. Very similar to what you just said. But when you get somebody with an intense promo like this, it changes the entire way that you view and your perspective. And this is one of those things where it's like, I just want more now. Like, I felt myself like so engaged and just so like shocked too at the same time, because you use the person's real name, you're talking about their wife, but he had like a twist on every part of it, and it was just so good. So good.
Yeah. And it's one of the very few times that they've ever used Undertaker's real name on TV. Andrew Elder did remind me that there was a time in '99 where Ken Shamrock called him Mark or something like that. And we have seen Undertaker's wife on TV before with Sarah, his first wife, when they did the Stalker DDP angle.
Okay.
But as the Dead Man, especially when he came back as a Dead Man in 2004, it's been all kayfabe and character. No real breaking of the ice. The first time they really broke the ice on him was the Steve Austin interview. So, she up?
No, but...
Anyway. Stick with us here.
I am.
So, I thought it was a solid angle. I'm looking forward to the match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I said everything I have to say about it.
Right.
I'm looking
Riddick
forward
Moss
to it
versus
very
Cedric
much.
Alexander for the 24/7 title.
Ugh.
Can we just agree that Riddick Moss is not going to be a thing, and the 24/7 title needs to die?
I honestly, like, there are certain
Who
things.
is Riddick Moss? Like every week they chant, "Who are you?" And the commentators are putting him over like he's this humongous star.
Here's the thing.
What the hell?
I just feel like there's things that have a peak, and again, you and I were very much the type to defend the 24/7 championship, like when it was going on and it was strong with R-Truth and Drake Maverick. But now it's like it's lost its luster entirely. Nobody even cares anymore at this point, and it's like, what's a Riddick Moss? Like, when something is really, really good, there's times where you strike when the iron is hot, and then there's things you just end because it's so good, and you're not going to get it any better than that. And it did its time. It did its thing. It was comedic. It was fine. It was whatever. But like, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, it's like over, and they're like, "Oh, he's the longest reigning 24/7 champion in history." It's like, who cares?
It's like, I don't care.
Like, no one cares about that.
I'd rather
there's been 150 champions, and it's only been around for less than a year.
And I'd rather it was
Santa Claus won it,
right? I'd rather just like R-Truth had it, and then it just like I don't know, somebody destroyed it, and that was it. Like,
right. Well,
there was no
didn't
reason.
what was the angle where I was like, oh, it's Lesnar.
It was Lesnar. I was
like,
Lesnar.
oh, Lesnar's gonna destroy the title, and thank God it'll be gone. And then it never happened.
Yeah,
damn.
Like he should have won it and then like destroyed it and been like, that's it, no more, like whatever.
Right. And Cedric Alexander was the victim for Riddick Moss. Like Alexander did nothing in this match, got just squashed completely. Remember this guy? Like they pushed him.
I know.
In the summer. Now look at him. It's like amazing how nothing. They're doing zero with this guy.
Was it Charlotte tonight?
What?
Charlotte said something about like flavors of the week. They do. They have like these just the people like, oh, you know what? Let's just give him a try. I would be mortified if I were one of the superstars and Vince all of a sudden had like this immediate passion for me, because it can go just as quickly as he has it for you. Like, unless you
just wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. Oh, I don't want to push that guy
right,
anymore.
and unless you truly care, like somebody like Drew
Umberto Carrillo's had
McIntyre,
like 5 of those.
yeah, and like unless it's somebody like Drew McIntyre who. And maybe because he was like really passionate about him like when he first came around, and now that he has like this whole revamp to his character or whatever, but like,
right,
you gotta be scared if Vince McMahon all of a sudden has a sudden interest in you, and then it's like,
it's
not
like,
so
okay,
much.
this is not good for my career right now.
Yeah, absolutely,
really not good for my career.
No, most certainly not.
Oh, what was I just gonna say? Oh yeah. So Cedric Alexander, after the match on Twitter, put out a GIF of Grandpa Simpson walking into a room and then just forgetting why he was there and then leaving.
What?
So I thought that it was just like, oh, I'm in and I'm out. Like, you could take it that way. Just like, oh, I was on so quick, might as well not even been there. But like I thought that the GIF really meant like, yeah, this is what, and all it said was #Raw with this GIF of Grandpa Simpson walking in a room getting confused.
You didn't tell me about this. Wow.
Yeah, I know. So I was like, is that like a shot at Vince and like saying that he's a senile old man?
Yeah.
Like I think that he's gonna take the Jordan Miles route and just try to get the hell out of there. Jordan Miles is like the one guy that like really, like, everybody says on Twitter, like you've had Oni Lorcan, a couple other people that just are escaping my mind right now, saying that they've had publicly going that they have contract disputes.
Yeah.
Jordan Miles took it a step further and got out of his contract. I think Cedric Alexander should be doing the exact same thing. Just get out, because your career is just dead here. It's absolutely dead, and it's like he's too good to be a jobber. So just get the hell out of there.
100%. He's
same with Ricochet.
He's the type of guy who, well, Ricochet, we said we could go to NXT, and that would be a huge thing for him. Billy and I were talking tonight. There are certain individuals, we hate to say it, that should go to AEW. Feel like they would have a better opportunity and a better showcase.
They won't let him go though.
What's the one way you can really get out of it and not have to pay, like,
wait it out? That's it. Don't get injured, because they will literally just freeze your contract.
They'll freeze it.
So you just play it safe,
have your match here and there, and then
get out. Like Mike Kanellis right now is he talked about wanting to get out, quit, and he's working NXT house shows on the Coconut circuit right now. Luke Harper languished doing nothing for months, and they finally let him out of his contract.
But see, here, this is what weird though, and I want to ask you about Mike Kanellis real quick. Is he really like on the way out though? Because like,
no, he's not.
Well, no, I'm just saying. You said, but he wants to go out.
Yeah, he said like, oh yeah, I want to show my daughter that I work for a living and not just collecting a paycheck.
Right, but Maria Kanellis has been very active in like #Raw and like things like that. So that's,
of course, because they I think she's trying to. They know that they're not going to get out of the contract, so that she's trying to settle things for her husband. It seems like, and
just like salvage a situation a little bit,
and try to like mend the bridge. Maybe get him back on the main roster or something like that, or even at least on NXT.
Yeah, I know, because she's been very like #Raw and stuff, so it is interesting. I don't know. There's almost like too much talent, but
there is.
And, for sure. But it's like they don't really know what to do anymore with certain individuals, and it's really a shame.
And some guys, they just sign, they never do what they want to do with them.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel really bad. Not like I said, not someone like Zack Ryder, but someone like Cedric Alexander. Yeah, I do feel bad for. I genuinely do.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough deal, because they're working hard, and they have obviously you dedicate your life to becoming good, and you have some talent. I think about the Cruiserweight Classic, where Cedric Alexander got eliminated. Triple H comes out and puts his arm around the guy. It's like, okay, this guy looks like he's on the fast track to being like somebody in the company.
Yeah.
Gets called up, gets stuck in the horrible run of the cruiserweights from 2016, 2017, 2018.
Right.
And just never got over the way he should have.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Think about a guy like Rich Swann that was in that cruiserweight division, and he didn't work out either. They wanted to push him. MVP randomly in the ring. I think he must have misread a cue or something like that, because he was talking as we came back from break. It seemed to me like he was supposed to wait for us to come back from break and then start talking, but he was running down Washington D.C. Said or either that or he was trying to get heat from the crowd. And it just kind of got, they came back too soon almost, or something like that.
I think you're right on that.
Because he was really running down DC. It was almost like one of those things that's just designed to get heat during the commercial break, and then they come back.
And then they come back. Yeah.
Because he goes, you're so small. You're just a blip on the map. You're not even your own state. You're too small.
Probably what happened. If I guarantee it.
Yeah. Because everybody in Washington DC is so bitter that they're not the 51st state.
Agree with you, by the way, in your tweet when you said that this roster needs more managers. I am 100% agreeing with that, because I was saying last night, I was like, I would love to be I can never do what they do in the ring. I am just going to say that, but I definitely would have loved to have been a manager, but I know that they would be like, oh no, we want you in the ring at some point, and I can never do that. But it does need more managers, especially for individuals who really can't talk. And it's if you're not going to have this authority figure, a manager, let's say a manager makes a match, MVP made a match for somebody, right? That's something you can justify, well, my manager booked this or something like that.
Right. But with who? Who did he book it with?
Right. But I don't know. But
I know.
It does. It needs more. It needs more Heymans, and it needs more MVP. It just needs people who can.
I got excited when MVP said, "Oh, I want to start building a stable," because I didn't think they were going with Edge here yet. And he's like, yeah, I want to build a stable with champions, and I've tasted championship gold, and I want to lead some people there.
Yeah.
And the first person I want my stable is Edge, and I was like,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
They're doing they're just using this as a tease just to get Edge out there. I was like, that's so random. Anyway, Edge magically drives up, comes out looking all intense. Jamel's leaving. He's taking off tonight. So good night, Jamel. Thanks for hanging out with us. MVP. He gets in the ring. Edge just takes the microphone from MVP and says, "Randy, I need you to grow a set and get your ass out here right now." MVP asks, "What's wrong with you? You're focusing on the wrong things. By the way, how is your wife?" Edge turns around, spears him. Randy Orton all of a sudden comes out, blindsides Edge. Edge fights him off and hits Randy with an RKO, which I thought was so cool. I thought that was really neat.
Honestly, this is just an amazing, amazing storyline. And I feel honored to be able to get to watch Edge now.
Yeah.
In action. Because I never got to see it. I think when I was watching, was he on the just
he was
retiring,
right? He was on the tail end.
So this is
just watching. Miz was in the main event.
This was just, oh man, this is so good. And again, this is why I'm so mad at Andrew for putting my thought into my head to further this feud with Natalya last night with Randy Orton RKOing her. Yeah. But no, Edge is. I never really realized. I always knew, because when he would come back come back randomly, just for if it was an anniversary of Raw or something like that, or a Legends thing or something. And I just never really realized how much of an impact he's made, and that he continues to do, and how genuinely good he really is.
Yep.
And how much people really adore him too.
Very, very strong. Very, very strong. He was one of my favorites when I first started recapping SmackDown. He was basically running wild on the show with Vicky Guerrero.
Okay.
So watching Edge, come back, it's really it's special for me to see him again, to get to recap him one last time. But even though he signed a 3-year deal with them, but he gets. I'm happy that he gets to end his career on his terms.
Yeah.
I recapped his retirement. Word for word, still up there.
I remember that.
April 11th, 2011. That's when it happened. It was shocking when it happened. And I'm glad I got to recap his return.
It's so nice to see people like Daniel Bryan and him coming back.
Yes.
It warms your heart so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And Daniel Bryan's out there having great performances. I thought he had a really ballsy performance last night. It was great. Anyway,
Anyways, great job, Edge.
yes. So Edge goes and gets 2 chairs, but Orton quickly leaves the ring. MVP tries to attack him, but Edge just takes him out with a head and arm choke, which did not get over whatsoever. It looked like he was just kind of hugging him, and it just, his face was beet red, and it was just like, okay, this is not. The crowd doesn't know that he's choking MVP to death right now. That's not good. And then he hits him with a concerto.
See, I didn't think of it like that, but
yeah, it was like a really weird visual. I was just like,
well,
what the hell's going on here?
Well, now I am going to look at it differently. Thanks for that.
And then so he hits MVP with a concerto. Orton's just like, ugh. And then the crowd chants one more time, and then Edge does it again one more time to MVP. MVP was good here. I really hope they follow through with that stable. I hope they weren't just saying that just to kind of. But he said it before.
He has. I think
MVP
they will.
Said it a couple times. I think they're going to eventually. I think they're going to do it post Mania.
That's what I was about to say.
Awesome.
I think it'd be after WrestleMania for sure. I don't think it would be any time before that, because then you have to kind of like establish it. But you can give more time after WrestleMania.
Yeah, it would be good.
And you can have like seeking out people from WrestleMania.
Right. So they announced next week, and so again, solid segment. I think that Orton versus Edge definitely got to be, a weapons match, no DQ or whatever it is, street fight, WrestleMania, whatever, Beth Phoenix in a cage, whatever. That has a potential to be like the main event.
That is like my top 3, like looking forward to.
It won't be the last match, but they'll have such. I believe they could have such a good match that people will wish it was the last match.
Yeah,
and nobody would want to follow it.
For sure.
It's so good, and using WWE logic, they'll probably open up the show. Anyway, next week, Raw is in our favorite city of all time.
It is
Pittsburgh.
Oh,
boring, old,
I love
horrible
Pittsburgh.
crowd. Pittsburgh. They better get off their ass because they have Steve Austin. Next week is March 16th, 3/16. And you know how many times Jerry Lawler said, I see what you did there tonight? I was like, oh, God. Like, stop. So they have Steve Austin. They're going to have The Undertaker next week. It's going to be The Undertaker and AJ Styles doing a contract signing for their WrestleMania match. They better get off their ass. That's all I'm saying.
Pittsburgh.
Boring.
They don't even know what they have coming to them. And it's like they are that city that like it just expects like, I want every legend. I want Andre the Giant there. Okay, well, that can't happen.
Yeah, they're like the prince in Saudi Arabia. Can I get Yokozuna and the Ultimate Warrior?
They want everyone just to.
I want the guy in the cowboy hat.
Resurrect and.
I want Andre the Giant.
I want Andre the Giant versus Bruno Sammartino versus
versus Stan Stasiak. He was my dad's favorite. It's like what?
Nobody had that type of crowd. So if they don't get up for Stone Cold,
I know.
What are you doing?
I don't know. It's like, and Nafis actually makes a good point. He says he feels like Kurt Angle may come out. It's like, yeah, well, he's the Pittsburgh hometown boy.
Will they do anything? No, they'll just sit there like this.
Yeah, he'll just be out there and they'll be like, yes, I remember him. You were good at one point.
You're still not Bruno Sammartino.
You're not that great. Anyway, yeah, I know. Well, Bruno was from Pittsburgh.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
That would go over pretty well. Daniel Shaw goes, can I see Sting? Can I get the Bushwhackers, please? It's like, God, come on now.
I want Bob Backlund versus.
Yeah, it's like. They better get up. Okay, so it's at this point it's only like 10:15 Eastern Standard Time in the show. And It's like 45 minutes. They send out Seth Rollins and Aleister Black, and I was like, oh, what's gonna be the main event? I guess what's gonna be the final segment? I'm like, they ran through everything that they advertised, and this is like it. I was like, oh God, Seth Rollins, Aleister Black, DQ, tag team match. Wound up being an 8-man tag. Seth Rollins, Aleister Black. You don't know how hard it was, though, for me.
Oh, I'm sure.
When I was recapping Seth Rollins and Black, because I kept thinking, like, it just kept reverting my mind back to, like, Tyler Black, like Seth Rollins' old name. I kept referring to Rollins as Black. And Black is Black as well. So I was like, Black attack Black. I was like, I gotta go.
Wow.
I was like, I don't know why. I just couldn't get it out of my head.
Oh man,
and
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was whatever. And
I thought you said it was because it was like like, you know, with an 8-man tag. I thought that's why you said it was like going to be whatever. But I didn't even know about Seth Rollins being Tyler Black. So that's wow.
So anyway, Street Profits come out. Aleister Black disappears. He wasn't even involved in the 8-man tag. So Aleister Black got his DQ win, just walked away, just disappeared. No one ever mentioned him again. Viking Raiders and the Street Profits versus Seth Rollins, Murphy, and AOP. This was like they were just filling time. It was like a plethora of chin locks, headlocks, front face locks. It was just like we have nothing. We don't have anything to fill up the last 45 minutes to just go out there and just do something. And my hat's off to them. And I do want to say this.
Okay.
That I would much rather watch 45 minutes of good but rather uninspired wrestling than 45 minutes of crummy matches and bad comedy. So I'm glad that, like, okay, we ran out of ideas, so instead of trying to make a bunch of bullshit segments, they at least gave us wrestling, which at the end of the day on the marquee, it's supposed to be a wrestling show.
That's a good point. No, that's a very, very good point.
I can't be too upset with the match. And also, you know, they did an angle with Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins at the end. Rollins gave Owens 3 stomps, so they're kind of setting them up for WrestleMania.
Do you think this is going to be the new, like, formula, though, that they just will do the action-packed 2 hours, and then the third hour they'll kind of...
That's how it's been. The third hour is always the worst hour.
No, I know that, but do you think...
It's averaging about 2 million, and that's it. And it's going to dip below, even lower, I think, as the year goes on.
Well, I just mean not even so much like... We know the third hour doesn't do well, just overall, but do you think this is like the new formula that they'll maybe have continue, knowing that the third hour...
It'll get old real quick. It'll get old real quick. You have to still promote things for the third hour and just hope that people tune in to watch. You know, like they kept him last week with Randy Orton and Beth Phoenix. They did keep him.
I almost wonder though if they should have had. I mean, it doesn't matter no matter what. Like, because you promoted Edge, it doesn't matter. But I almost wonder if they should have had like the Edge Randy Orton thing at the end again. But yeah, I guess they just wanted to make sure that people were watching, because you didn't really know like what was going to happen with him.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
or you kind of saw where it was going to go, but you want to see it.
Yeah.
Daniel Shell says, "Can we stop with the stunner, please? It's so annoying." And I agree. I think he's overusing the stunner. Owens is definitely overdoing the stunner. It's like every night someone's, you know, like multiple people are getting stunned. It's like it kind of is taken away from it. I think next week what would be a really, really fun segment is just take all the guys that were getting pushes last year that Vince immediately gave up on, like Cedric Alexander, put Humberto Carrillo in there. I'm sure there's a couple other guys that we can think of. And Steve Austin takes Kevin Owens to stunner school, and they just practice giving stunners to these guys that Vince no longer cares about. I think that would be a great segment.
Oh my god!
Like Steve Austin University or something.
Wow, that's really cool. Now I'm going to be mad at you next week.
You're mad at me now.
I'm going to be more mad.
Oh,
That'll be strike 3.
Oh, God.
You don't want to get to strike 3.
Give me the laugh. Oh, boy. Very scary. Yeah, so overall, there were so many good angles on this show, so many good promos, some good matches as well. I can't. You know, this is an easy thumbs up for me.
It was one of those shows where even though the third hour, you know, you're not getting like a whole lot, but you are getting wrestling, which is good. It's one of those shows where I was not bored. I really wasn't. Right. Like, there were certain times, whatever, but I was not. Like, it was overall a quicker Raw than usual.
Yeah. It definitely flowed nicer.
Yes.
A good flow to it.
And not a terrible follow-up from the pay-per-view.
No, not at all.
You know,
like I expected this to be a good Raw, and I wasn't disappointed. I thought it was a good Raw. So I thought it was very solid. What does everybody say in the chat room? I see Nafisa already has a thumbs up for the show. Daniel says it did go fast. So we'll wait to see that. In the meantime, let me look at the Twitter poll. I'm going to refresh the page. We got to work on this here. 66%. Oh, I'm sorry, 65% thumbs up.
Oh, somebody must have just voted because I just refreshed the page. Oh,
there you
interesting.
go. 65% up. 35% down. So I'm giving it a thumbs up. What do you give it, Victoria?
A thumbs up for sure.
Thumbs up.
100%.
Nafis gives it a thumbs up. Daniel Shell gives it a thumbs up. Andrew Elder gives it a thumbs up. Billy gives it a thumbs up. Hayden says it goes much quicker when I don't have to watch it. Absolutely. Mashoon Walls gives it a thumbs up. So a successful show. And now I think we only have 3 more Raws left until WrestleMania.
What? Well, you're joking, right?
I think that's it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think that's it. I hope everybody is checking out the retro recaps of the WrestleMania. I had WrestleMania 6 and WrestleMania 7 up last week. I did 2 of them. I'm almost done with WrestleMania 8 right now, so that'll be up tomorrow night, and I'm looking to get WrestleMania 9 out by Saturday. I'm trying to churn these things out a little quicker. I don't think I'll have all of them done by WrestleMania. I don't think I'll have up to WrestleMania 17 done by the actual show, but, I hope you're enjoying them. I enjoy recapping them. Although, I swear to God, if I hear Gorilla Monsoon say Hoosier Dome one more fucking time, I'm going to dig him up and punch him in the face.
I have to say, even though I'm mad at you right now, I'm very proud of you for doing all these WrestleManias. Although it's so funny to listen to them as I'm trying to go to sleep, and then you're kind of falling asleep, and then I have to watch the same thing over again, listening to it. I'm like, I'm losing my mind. I'm like, how many times can I hear this match and commentator? I'm like, please, Lord.
I know, right?
No, but it is cool. I'm learning a lot too, and that's what I really like about it.
I haven't seen some of these WrestleManias in a long time.
It's so cool just to kind of see from the beginning how.
And how far the show
evolved.
has come.
Yeah, how much it's evolved. And
it is amazing.
It is amazing.
Hayden Barker says he gives it a Philly Lily thumbs up. Aw.
Philly Lily.
She's our little Philly Lily.
She is a Philly. Oh, my. Hayden, thank you for that nickname. I never even
nickname.
thought of that.
Philly Lily.
Philly Lily.
I call her Silly Lily, so there's that.
Philly Lily's so cute.
Very cute. All right. On that note, we are going to wrap this up. We will be back for Post Raw number 74 next week. Really enjoyed the show tonight.
If Mike makes it to Post Raw 74.
If I make it there. I'm already skating on thin ice here. Everybody, I'm Mike Tedesco, editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com.
I'm Victoria Tedesco.
Have a great week. We will see you next week.
Bye.
On 3/16 day. Oh, hell yeah.